How do you protect personal property? Things like super valuable things like your business, your accounts receivable, your patents, your trademarks. What about your inventory, your equipment, consumer goods, and items and equipment needed to run your business and make a living? What do you do to protect those things? The tool we very often use to protect those items is called a UCC-1. That's a Uniform Commercial Code 1 document. Now, the UCC-1 form is a legal document filed to give public notice that a creditor has an interest in the personal property of a debtor. It's part of the Uniform Commercial Code set of laws that regulate commercial transactions in the United States. The purpose is to establish a creditor's legal claim on a debtor's collateral, essentially for securing interest in personal property to protect creditors. So what we'll typically do is we'll set up a limited liability company, an LLC, and that LLC is typically filed either in Wyoming or an international LLC in Nevis or the Cook Islands. That company will typically have a virtual office, an address, and a phone number associated with the company, so it's not just a shell company, but it has an actual location. So if one of your creditors call, they'll be able to see this is a real, genuine company that has a real location. We'll also have nominee managers so that your name doesn't appear in the public records, and that way, that LLC that encumbers your property is private. Nobody knows that you're associated with it, and that's the LLC that will be on the creditor side of the UCC-1 form. You as the debtor, and your privately owned LLC as the debtor. So if somebody inquires and asks what kind of equity you have in that asset, they will see that all the equity in your business, all the equity in the equipment, all the equity in your boat. So here's how the process works. We'll set up the LLC with a virtual office and nominee managers. We'll take the form associated with a promissory note that's typically not publicly filed. We'll fill out the UCC-1 form, and that will be filed with the appropriate government agency that presents a lien on your assets, such as your business. So our in-house attorney completes the UCC-1 form and files it with the appropriate government agency. So the way the UCC-1 form is typically used is with creditors who loan on a particular asset. When the debtor fails to fulfill the obligations, the secure party can seize and sell the collateral. Repossession, foreclosure, and selling the collateral is done in order to satisfy the debt. The creditor, the one who lent the money, provides legal protection for the priority in claims against the debtor's assets. So the debtor, therefore, can access loans and credit by using personal property as collateral. So the UCC-1 form typically has two parties associated with it. The debtor, and that is typically you or one of your companies, and then the creditor, which is the LLC that you own privately. Now, this type of arrangement typically scares off your friendly neighborhood contingency fee attorney, because once they look into the records, they'll see that everything is encumbered to the hilt. Now, if it gets to the point where you're being asked about these liens and the LLC and so on, we can get a third-party lender to purchase the UCC-1 form from your LLC. So now we have a third-party lender who purchases the UCC-1 form from your LLC, and you receive the proceeds. Now, the proceeds from the sale of the UCC-1 will typically go into a trust, and that is an asset protection trust, typically an international asset protection trust. And the money inside the trust is not money that you can run away and spend, mainly because that would be too risky to the lender, but it does show the judge that now a true third party owns the UCC-1 lien against your assets, and that you've received the bona fide proceeds in a tool that your enemy at law cannot take. So if you have things like your business, such as the stock, its assets, if you own your business in a corporation, we record the UCC-1 lien against your stock in that corporation and all of its assets. You have a car, you have a boat, you have intellectual property such as patents and trademarks, things like copyrights. The UCC-1 form recorded against those assets can protect those assets from somebody else taking them away from you in a lawsuit. So that's how you protect personal property, and that's how we use the UCC-1 form to encumber assets so nobody can take them away from you.